I am Minister Demetri Jackson, and I am here with a great friend of mine, the pastor of the St. Paul Baptist Church, Pastor Thought Delaney Jr., actually. And he's going to talk to you about a couple of things that's going on in his life, some inspirational things that have happened to him, some inspirational things that he had to get over so he can become a better Christian, a better father, a better son, a better family member, a better head of a church. And we're just going to go over a couple of things on the new show that I'm creating now that's called the Inspirational Lifestyle.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Hello to the viewers. I'm just glad to be a part of this inspirational moment, inspirational lifestyle, and I hope that it's something that I say or do that can be a blessing to you.
Yes. And we're hoping that you're not just a one-time visitor.
And I pray that the presence of God and the Spirit of God allow me to be on here continuously. This is another way to actually get out and let the world know what's happening here at St. Paul, what's happening in our ministry. I believe that I'm moving under Nehemiah unction and Nehemiah blessing, a Nehemiah mantle that focuses on the work. And in focusing on the work, I believe that the work is so great that we have to have avenues like this to get the word out of how big and how great our God is, and that if God can do it for me, He can do it for others.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a few questions, okay? I just want to talk about a few things that happen in your life. Like, I want to know who or what was like the biggest inspiration on your life that you live today?
Well, the biggest inspiration, the person that I believe, as many in my life, or I could say my mother, my father, people like that, but my grandfather, my father's father, John Delaney, was the biggest impact on my life as far as my biggest inspiration, because he was a man that even with what he was given, he was able to do so much. He was able to really show love for his grandchildren, not having all of the financial things, but he had so much love, he had so much wisdom, and the work ethic that I have is because of the time I spent with him. The things that I do is because of the time that I spent with him, watching him, and the way I am in church and the way I am in service is because of what I learned watching him. The way that I prepare, the way that I do things is because I watched him prepare on Saturday nights, and I watched him get himself ready with his mind focused on church. The way that I am in my yard, around my house, the way I am on my job is because of what I did watching him. And anybody that knows me and knows my father know that we are a connection to my grandfather, and he was my biggest inspiration.
And see, that's a thing that I see that's not actually taking place in the community today, and it may be because I hear a lot of people say it's because of the age difference now, because most grandparents are not at the age that they used to be back in the old days, where they're not 60 anymore, and they're not able to put their hands down on their grandkids no more. But I don't see it that way. I actually see it as it's not really the age difference. I see it's the way that things are happening in churches these days, and the way that churches are not putting their hands on these grandparents. Even though you're 38 or you're 49, you're a young grandparent, you still have a responsibility when it comes to becoming a grandparent of someone.
And the thing about it is, everybody can be an inspiration. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what your position is, it doesn't matter what you do outside of the church, outside of your home or your community, on your job. We all have something that we can encourage somebody with. We all have something that we can do to be an inspiration, because guess what? Christ says, greater is he that lives in me than he that lives in the world. And as long as we have God present inside of us, we can be an inspiration to others. So it doesn't matter your age, the only thing that matters is who you are and whose you are. And because we are kingdom children, we are kingdom people, we are connected to a Father who is a king, and because we are joint heirs with Christ, we have the ability to make an impact on the community and the world that we can. One person can make a difference. All we have to do is try.
I like that a lot. I really do. Can you tell me one thing in your life that you feel can be an inspiration to others?
The biggest thing about my life that I believe that can be an inspiration to others is sometimes we are just like that tortoise in the hare. Sometimes we start out quick and we do things quick, but guess what? The race is not given to the swift or the battle to the strong, but those that endure and hold out towards the end. My story is that I was on a rapid pace to be able to accomplish things quickly, and things happen. Situations come, and we take side roads, we take back roads to get to our destiny. But guess what? When you're persistent, when you stay focused, when you keep on fighting, sooner or later, God will allow you to reach your destiny. And my thing is, I was faithful, I was persistent, even though sometimes it didn't look like it was going to happen, even though sometimes it didn't look like I was going to actually accomplish what I set out in the beginning. When I made my goals, I accomplished. Graduated high school in '95 as an honor graduate, went to Xavier University. Things happened, '98, came back home, went to Southern for a semester, and decided that it wasn't working. I was going to go be a full-time parent, a full-time father. 2007, a lot of years down the road, God blessed me to be able to get back in school. 2011, I received my bachelor's degree in business administration, but even going through that, God sustained me the whole while. I always had a good job. I always had a good position where God saw me through until I got to that position. I was already in a position that required a degree and didn't have one. God gave me favor to be able to be in that position and obtain my degree while working. On the church side, started preaching in 1998. Didn't get an opportunity to pastor a church till 2012, June 2012. But in the midst of that, I want to say that those that are faithful, those that remain persistent to the calling in your life, those that that have a don't quit attitude, sooner or later God is going to come to your rescue. Sooner or later God is going to step in, and whatever you're going through, just stay focused, stay committed, stay determined, and guess what? You too can be an inspiration, because even in the midst of that, I was just like that psalmist that said in 121, I was going to keep on looking towards the hill which came my help, knowing that all my help came from the Lord, and as long as I was connected to the Lord, sooner or later my breakthrough was going to come. And guess what? It did come. It did come.
I want to say one more. I have one more question, because I just want to say you're amazing. You're amazing.
Yeah.
And the things that you are talking about are amazing things. But can you tell me one big trial or tribulation that you had that came in your way that was the biggest roadblock, something that just came in the midst of a storm that you was already in? You was already deep in the storm, well in the storm. It was already, the hurricane was big. It was like Katrina.
My biggest thing was I was in a situation of doubt. I was in a situation where things didn't work out around me, and I started to doubt myself internally. And it's dangerous when you don't believe in yourself.
Yes.
It's dangerous when you don't believe in yourself. But sometimes you feel like you're like Moses on the backside of the desert. Sometimes you feel like you're like Elijah on the backside under a juniper tree. And you feel like you're all by yourself, and you start doubting yourself. But maybe, am I called to do this? Am I qualified to do this? Am I ever going to make it? And the thing about a storm is, when you're in a storm, you see the winds blowing, you see the waves beating, you feel the pressure and the pain, and you start to wonder why. Why am I in this? Why am I ever going to get out of it? And it's dangerous when you see all of that and you start doubting yourself. When you start giving up on yourself, when you start saying, well, maybe I'm not meant to be where I am, or maybe I'm not meant to do what I'm doing. Maybe I just need to give up and throw in the towel. It's dangerous for everybody. It's good when everybody else gives up on you, but when you give up on yourself, that's the biggest hurdling block, because you have to first get strength and courage in yourself first. And one of the big things that I said and understood, and it's a saying that I share with my congregation, I share with my friends and my followers on social media, is I've never seen a storm that doesn't continue to pass on. Storms come, they arise, even hurricanes, even tsunamis, they keep on passing on. And then eventually they get to the point where they dissipate and move on. And that's the same way God is with our lives. Even in the midst of the things that we're going through, even in the midst of times when we doubt ourselves, we should never doubt God, because guess what? He's going to give us the ability to keep on traveling through the storm. As long as we keep moving while we're in the storm, sooner or later we're going to get out of it. And He give us the ability to turn back around and look back in it and see the people people that's still in the storm,
Uh-huh.
and then you'll be able to thank God that He brought us out. So my biggest thing was doubt. And in the midst of doubting, I remembered when I am weak, God is strong. And He began to restore my self-confidence. He began to restore my belief in myself, because I couldn't be an inspiration to nobody else till I was in a position to where God inspired me to believe in myself. I couldn't do what I'm doing now if I didn't have the belief to be able to understand that I am somebody. I'm somebody special, just like Jesse Jackson said. But guess what? I understand what the word says, that I am a peculiar person. I'm a royal priesthood. I am somebody that's going to have the ability to have an impact because of the connection I have with my brother, who is Jesus Christ. And because I have that, I have access to God to be able to do what I do. And in the midst of that, once I got to the position where I was able to start having confidence in myself, I was able to share that with other people. Yes. And let people know, hey, I've been there. I've hit rock bottom. I've been in the gutter. I've traveled through some storms, but guess what? I made it. And if I can make it, you can make it too.
And another thing I want to say to you, how do you feel? Do you feel like it's a lifestyle change that you have to make, or do you feel like it was just? Do you feel, how can I put this? Do you feel like it was that the way you are now is a lifestyle?
Yeah, it's definitely a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle change. Giving yourself totally to God, committing totally to His plan and His will is something that's not easy. But when you can do it, you receive beautiful blessings. That's why one of the scriptures that I stand on every day in my lifestyle change is Exodus 23 and 25. That God said, if I serve Him, He'll make sure that I never have to worry about eating. I never have to worry about drinking, and that there will never be sickness anywhere around my family and my friends. But it's a lifestyle change, because when I understood that when I connected to Him and I followed Him, that all of my descendants, my seeds, my children, they will be blessed because of my connection to God. So it was truly a lifestyle change, but it was a change for the better.
Yes.
It was a change for the better. It wasn't easy at first, but guess what? Anything worth working for is worth having, and anything worth having is worth struggling for. And if you struggle for it, sooner or later you'll be able to reap the benefits of your labor. And guess what? On the second side, even with a woman that's pregnant and in labor, she might be in pain, she might be in agony, but if she keeps on pushing, sooner or later she's going to see that joy in front of her, and she'll be able to celebrate. And that's the same way with us. We just got to keep on pushing through this lifestyle change, keep on pressing, because God has put something great inside of us, and if we keep on moving, sooner or later we'll be able to celebrate the benefits and the blessings that God has given us in this change. It might hurt at first, but guess what? It feels so good when you're on the other side receiving everything that He is. And we're kingdom children, and we deserve to receive the blessings of a king. So the change was necessary. It was vital, but guess what? I feel so much better since I've done it. You're talking about an inspirational lifestyle. God is an inspiration to me, and because of His inspiration that's to me and in me, I'm able to do what I do on a continuous basis.
Wow. I also want to just say, I want to say this one thing. I want you to, how can I put this? I want you to be able to tell us about just all the joys and works that God is putting on you now and working with you now. I mean, in your church, in your community, the things that He's putting on your heart now to push forward and to push forward with the people. I want you to
one of the biggest joys was in a moment of sorrow for me. Just yesterday, I buried one of my head ushers, and in performing ministry, going to see her, going to visit her, being with her, I was able to see that what I was doing was actually paying off. Because when I went to see her at her home, she was in her bed, she was resting, and she was trying to recuperate, and she told me, she said, Pastor, I want you to do one thing. She said, turn around and look on the wall. And when I turned around and looked on the wall, I saw a picture of my first year anniversary fly, and she said, guess what, you don't think that I love my pastor? I keep my pastor close to me. That's the joy of all of the countless hours that I spend studying, the countless hours I spend praying for us when I'm tired and I don't feel like going on, and I keep on moving, to know that God is actually using me to have a connection with His people, and they're receiving some help on it. It really blesses me. On my job, I'm a safety coordinator. And it's a job that everybody doesn't like. But when I see people go home the way they came, it's a blessing because I understand. And it's the same way with every area of my life. Sometimes the things we have to say as ministers, sometimes we have things we have to say as pastors, sometimes it's not always good for the people as far as it's not feel good. But guess what? It's just like good medicine. It may taste bad going down, but it works. So what we have to do is just keep on moving on, man.
Yeah.
Keep on pressing, because at the end of the day, we will receive our reward. We might not get it on this side, but guess what? When we get to the other side and God tells us, well done, my good and faithful servant, and all that we go through will be so much better on the other side. But guess what? I serve such a good God that He's not going to just take care of me on the other side. He'll give me some blessings right here and right now. And that's the inspiration that I want to share with you all out there is, if you're faithful to God, if you're consistent in your prayer life, if you're consistent in your studies, if you're consistent in living a lifestyle that's pleasing and acceptable in God's sight, He'll give you your blessings right here on earth. And I'm a living witness that it can happen. I've seen tough times. I've seen rough times. I've seen some times when I didn't think I was going to make it out, but I can stand here today and say that God truly is a provider, because of what He did in the past for others, He's doing for me right now.
Now tell us where we can find you at. If they want to come and visit with you at church or visit with you anytime, I mean, tell them where they can find you.
We're here at St. Paul every Wednesday at 6:30 for prayer. 7 o'clock for Bible study. We have youth Bible study going on at that time, and then on Sunday mornings we have Sunday school at 9:15. We have worship service at 10:30. You can find us on the website www.stpaulgonzalez.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Paul Delaney. You can follow me on Twitter at LadJunior1. I'm on Instagram, on different places. I'm always trying to put out some inspirational words, inspirational messages, things that God speaks to me at certain times. Follow me there. But most importantly, come visit us. Come see what the good things that God is doing over here. God is really, really blessing us and putting us in a position to where we can have an impact on this community. As I said in the beginning, we stand on Nehemiah 6:3. We're doing a great work and we can't come down. And the work that we're doing is so great that God is putting us in a position for the world to see. And I'm glad that I'm able to be here with you in this web series on inspirational living, so that somebody else can see what God is doing here and what God is doing in my life and want to get to know this God that we serve.
Yes. I also just want to say one thing about this great man of God. It's the fact that he's always been an idol to me. I actually met the thought when I was with Pastor Delaney. Now, I actually met him when I was a young man. I was actually coming through, I think it was Knights of Pythagoras at the time.
Yeah, Masonic Lodge.
Yes, Masonic Lodge. And I was coming through, and I got a chance to meet this great man. And ever since then, he was a great man, a great role model then. Somebody who you would want to model your life behind then. So to see him now doing the things that he's doing for God and the works that he's doing for God with other men and other women who's pulling in the community, making the community stronger, making his church stronger, continuously blessing others, even when it's not even a blessing to himself, just to make sure that others are fine and others are taken care of. This is a great man of God. And if you want to meet and come visit with him, come on down to St. Paul Gonzalez. I'm going to put an address up for you. Just come on down and meet up with this great man of God. Yeah. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for just being there and being a blessing to me now.
Yeah, hopefully this is not my last time.
This
we can do this segment once in a while and have some updates on the good things God is doing in the church and in my life, and hopefully I can be a blessing to the viewers and something that God is doing. Because one more thing I want to say is that God promised us that He'd take care of us, but we must take care of ourselves.
Yes.
And we must be people that want to help others. He said, "He who is greatest among us must first be a servant." And God is putting us in a position to have a service attitude, a service vision. And guess what? When we help somebody else, God will help us. So that if I can say anything else, if you want to be an inspiration to anybody, help.
Yes,
go out and serve, go out and lend a helping hand, and as you help others, God will take care of you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
All right.